Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League was a major financial failure for Warner Brothers. They said that it lost them over $200 million, and even months before release, us gamers could tell it was going to be a massive, massive bomb. But now we're finding out that Warner Brothers has a women and non-binary leadership program in order to upend the gaming industry's male-dominated characterization. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, when it comes to Suicide Squad, it was a massive bomb. And of course, when it comes to Warner Brothers, they have been facing a lot of criticism in, the general entertainment scene, from movies to also video games. And now, this is not going to help their image. This is not going to restore confidence in consumers, because in an announcement that's sure to help the studio rehabilitate its reputation, following its recent KTJL and live service related debacles, Warner Brothers Games has officially launched a new women and non-binary leadership program with the intended goal of rehabilitating the male-dominated image of the overall video game industry. It says, revealed to the public courtesy of built-in contributor Bridget Hogan on May 22nd, following the conclusion of its inaugural 6-month run, the leadership program reportedly engaged 25 women and non-binary leaders from across Warner Brothers Games, 11 global studios, and global publishing and central teams. Now, of course, we do not know exactly how much money they sunk into this, but they're saying they engaged 25 women and non-binary leaders, and their motivation for this was, of course, to basically, rip out the men in the industry and replace them with more diverse hires. Of course, we have seen this happen time and time again at companies. Male leaves, they put in a female or someone who fits, a checkbox, which is, very unfortunate, because if you are the best person for the job, you should be getting hired for that job. Your gender shouldn't matter, your skin color shouldn't matter, your culture, your background, whatever the case may be. That shouldn't affect the fact that you are the best for the job, but that's not the way that especially the video game industry works, and entertainment in general works. Look at Hollywood, right? They have all of these diversity quotas where, behind the camera, 40% of the team has to be, a women, people of color, things like that. And then on screen, they have different quotas, and that is not ever going to work out for you, because we can see it's just hollow attempts to do what you think is best to move the industry forward. Of course, when it comes to Warner Brothers Games, we are talking about a company right now that is struggling in terms of their image. They are losing hundreds of millions of dollars on projects that absolutely nobody asked for. And if they had this money to burn, they should have the money to make better games and hire developers instead of doing things like this, and also hiring companies like Sweet Baby Inc. to work with Rocksteady and Sensitivity Read. It's pretty telling these people at the shell that is Rocksteady by name only are so bad at their jobs that they have to hire other people to tell them to do it differently. And even worse, gaming companies should not be listening to consultant companies like this, period. End of story. But I also don't think that Warner Brothers Games is worth saving at this point, judging by the fact that they're launching programs like this. It says they've launched this division program to upend the gaming industry's male-dominated characterization. Over the past just 5 years alone, never mind the past decade, the gaming industry has changed so much, and there are so many more different types of people within the industry, which I think is good. Don't get me wrong. I think, again, the best people for the job should be hired, but at the same time, we know half of it is, forced diversity, just companies wanting to up their ESG scores and look like they truly do want progress, when most of those people don't care. Do you really believe that an Andrew Wilson at EA or a David Zaslav at Warner Brothers actually cares about diversity? Of course not. They simply care about making money at the end of the day, and that's what they should care about. But at the same time, they are the ones that are following these corporate trends. It also says, though, in the quote, through a blend of structured workshops and candid conversations, participants found a safe space to share experiences and support one another. Beyond professional growth, the program sparked personal revelations, leading participants to prioritize self-care and embrace opportunities for learning. If you in your free time want to prioritize self-care, that's great, but we are talking about a company here. You should not be talking about that on company time. They're boasting that like it's some crazy thing that they're doing. Oh, we're providing people with a safe space. You're supposed to be providing people with a job. It says in discussion of the new program, she reached out to 3 female attendees of its first official event for their thoughts on its offerings and effectiveness, and they all said it was absolutely crazy and amazing. And even Jessica Durchin, the senior producer for the upcoming Wonder Woman title, said if you're resistant to a program like this, maybe consider it from a position of self-care, because the people I met and how the program was organized, I found I was feeling better each day. Congratulations, you joined a program where all of these women are patting themselves on the back. It's fine if you want to create, relationships with your coworkers, but again, this should not be a program that Warner Brothers Games is putting money into. They should be putting money into the content that they're creating. It's just as simple as that. Make better games, hire better developers. I don't think this Wonder Woman game is going to do particularly well. We know that there are several activist feminists who are already on the team, and now we have these, individuals, boasting about how we're creating a safer space for women and, we're hiring more women. I don't think that there is a problem when it comes to the industry as a woman. I have seen so many women in positions of power at these companies, CEOs, producers, game directors, all of these different things. I, as a woman, am sick and tired of hearing, oh, there aren't enough women in the video game industry and in positions of power, and they don't have enough influence on video games, when that definitely isn't the case. I mean, Roberta Williams created an entire genre of video games in 1979. There have always been women in the video game industry, and there will always be. And it's, for these people, I guess, something that they want to praise that Warner Brothers is launching this new leadership program, because, of course, it's raising the females up and, of course, denigrating the men within the space, which is ultimately what they want. And, of course, this is something most people are not going to agree with, and most gamers are going to call out. Like me, for example, I see Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, and I don't see, oh my gosh, it's a diverse team. I see a bad video game. At the end of the day, a game that did not do numbers for this company. 481 players, and they just recently, only a couple of days ago, had a big update. This game peaked on Steam at least at 13,000 players, when games that are a decade old peaked at double that, if not more, just within the Arkhamverse. It is absolutely pathetic, the state of the video game industry, that we are prioritizing programs like this instead of prioritizing good video games and development cycles being shorter and all of these different problems that we have, monetization and predatory practices. It's not what they are worried about, but it's what gamers are worried about. And you might have this program going on, but if at the end of the day you're making really bad products, nobody is going to show up. These programs are going to be shut down, and your company in totality is going to be as well. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.